to boat. His main achievement has been to allow suspects to run away. Look, they came again with false statements that they've saved Ghana 2.7 billion. I have it here. It is false. It's false. He can't, even in his own annual report, he then had to change it. Look, you see Sami Dako on this news file. That's it there, KSM. He is speaking. They said 2.7 billion. It's false. $2.7 billion. Please, let's emphasize dollars. It's false. If you go on the OSP website right now and check, you won't find $2.7 billion.
What do you find?
The closer is about, so let's round it up, 2.7 billion cedis. And even that one is also even disputable. But looking at the time, it may not be conducive to go in there.
I was for your mobile Biakwaba. Now I'm from Bramagati and platform with ESO. Interviewer. A lawyer Martin Kpebu a grantee ya a kofasa ni arrest any ni detention by the OSP Kisieja Beno. Me yako ni akuti sanse nebia na unyanhwe and you don't know the genesis of all this a year and summer is here. But nedin ka mesro so do comment betum say conversation ni koswa. Na se unyan subscribe to this channel mesro subscribe to your platform with essence hardie and send it to tie be more what to be near bunch the moon so why updated on any issues concerning Ghana ya man yourself any sebi kamim kabia mamuno intimate so be subscribe hanom remains your number one authentic platform yenti lawyer Martin Kpebu oni KSM and yes interview mashade twa honom portion hockey to bi enwa enti sanse no yakoba ya to aso ediamo
media does. That's how come over a century ago the British parliamentarians said the media is a fourth estate. Now the reason I'm opening the constitution is that so you will find that this thing that informed the people of Ghana is anchored in the preamble of the constitution. Okay, it's also anchored in the article 1 of the constitution. Then you have article 35 and then article 125. That's the theory of the sovereignty of the people. So in our constitution, the ultimate bosses are the people of Ghana. So if as a public officer, somebody allegedly, because we have to be careful, in any event, NIB has already removed its mark from this allegation. The other two, at least, let's say allegedly, because they haven't admitted that they failed Kisieja. So where a public officer is alleging that other state institutions are not helping, his strength is the constitution. Come out and spill the beans. Blow the whistle on wrongdoing. Blow the whistle. So you see that the constitution talks about sovereignty, right? All these provisions I've mentioned. So once you see that there is that sovereignty, it means that come and tell the people of Ghana that this is what somebody.
So you basically what you're saying is that was his option then. If the NIB or all the agencies that he said he contacted it and didn't help him, the only option he had was to come public and tell Ghanaians, I'm trying to do this and this and that, and I'm not getting the support.
Absolutely. And that's constitutional law. That is constitutional law because that's what the constitution requires. Because we are the sovereign, we are the bosses. So if another employee, and so the other name for it, for other people who don't want to do too much constitutional law, another name for it is that you hear them say civic oversight, civilians oversight over public institutions. So that's its other name. We have oversight. Okay, we have oversight. So once people are interfering with the work, you have a right to come out and mention. So look at Article 1, Clause 1 of the Constitution. It says, the sovereignty of Ghana resides in the people of Ghana, in whose name and for whose welfare the powers of government are to be exercised in the manner and within the framework laid down, and within the limits, laid down in the Constitution. That's Article 1. You go to 35, you see it there. So that theory of sovereignty, and you can ask, political science professors, Professor Jampo and Co, they'll tell you, yes, that sovereignty requires that he should have come to tell the bosses. We are the bosses. Even the armed forces that we revere and respect so much, the armed forces are under us. That's how come their commander-in-chief has never enrolled as even a private or a major in the army. That's President Mahama. You see that when a civilian is appointed president, by our constitution, he automatically becomes the commander-in-chief.
Yeah.
The reason is that we control the armed forces, civilian oversight. So even the soldiers who are to fight war for us, I don't know much about war, etc. All right, and the rest of our citizens. Yet the people who are the experts, even though they are experts, in order to tame them, so to speak, I don't mean in negative, to control them, we put a civilian, the president, who may never have been to any armed forces training. So civilian control of the military, and it's like that in most parts of this world. So this constitutional principle of sovereignty, don't play with it. Look, so Article 35, it says, Ghana shall be a democratic state dedicated to the realization of freedom and justice, and accordingly, sovereignty resides in the people of Ghana, from whom government derives all its powers and authority through this constitution. Then we'll go to 125, etc. So that's so we are the bosses as citizens. We are bosses. So if anybody is frustrating, you come up. And so you look at what Amidou did to President Kufuor.
Yeah.
You see it. Did anybody ever say that no, they will charge Amidou? No, you can't. He was living the constitution. This simple thing, Kissi Jabin couldn't do. So you see that there are issues of incompetence, apart from his closeness to Gabi Asare Dako, Kufuor, and Oforiatta, etc.
Yeah, let me ask this. I've been in court some time ago. I don't remember the case, but I remember the lawyer saying to the judge, taking judicial notice of something. I don't know what it means, but would it be right in this case to say, taking judicial notice of the fact that the office was put in place, officially put in place by Nanado and Gabi Ojishako and Oforiatta are both friends of Kissi Jabin, taking judicial notice of that? There's something worrying?
Absolutely, you are right. You got it right. So when you say taking judicial notice, it means that that thing is so common, okay? It's an indisputable fact, okay? So common and so known to everybody that you don't need to call a certain witness to come and tell us. No. So this thing you've said is out there. We've all known it for all this while since Kissi Jabin came into office. I think was it August or September 2021. So even actually if I start from April, the time of his nomination, okay, that immediately Amidou came out. If you check Google Martin Amidou speaks, you see he came out, and we all know there are even lawsuits. You see Kissi Jabin acting for Gabi Ochiridako, etc. So yes, you can take judicial notice, meaning that, of course, it's usually in this context, we know that KSM is not a judge. So when he says take it back, he's a host of this powerful program. So what he's saying is that he doesn't need a witness to now come and sit and tell us that Kissi Jabin worked for Gabi Ochiridako, etc. No, it's judicial notice. It's there. If you Google, you see defamation suits that Kissi Jabin was doing for Gabi Ochiridako, etc. If you Google, you see that Oforiatta and Gabi Ochiridako are related to ex-president Kufuor, etc. You don't need any other person to come and prove it. So that's judicial notice. It's a fact so commonly known that we don't need an expert or special witness to come and tell us.
Yeah, there's so far maybe 16 others who are petitioning, sort of taking judicial notice that the circumstances for Kissi being there is questionable. What is the maybe three main reasons, or in any petition, that Kissi is not qualified for this part?
Number one, you start with the incompetence, because it's the easiest to prove in this case. KSM, as I keep saying, Ghana will forever be grateful to you that you were the one who unmasked Kissi Jabin at this very desk, this table. So this is the chair he sat in, right? Well, so that's
it's a different studio.
It's a different studio.
Yeah,
okay.
The setup looks the same, but it's a different studio.
Very good.
Yeah.
It was you that he came and confessed that, hey, I didn't watch Oforiatta leave Ghana. He said, look, before Oforiatta left, he wrote a letter and I intercepted it. Then he said he went to NIB, National Security, allegedly. Hey, please, as I said, the NIB letter I've read. So NIB have removed themselves from this conversation. The other two, I'm sure, will do so pretty soon. Right? he went to all these places. So Kisi, as special prosecutor who takes evidence or relies on informants, etc., to do his work, he doesn't know whistle blowing, how to come out and inform the public. So Kisi doesn't know that when Amidu informed the public about the things Akufo-Addo was doing, I mean, Ghanaians were very grateful, and it made the nation stronger. That here is a man who didn't look at his stomach, but thought that if the president is trying to interfere in the work, I'll come out and spill the beans. So showing that he's not even in tune with the nation, he's lost the plot. He can't live the constitution. Incompetence. So let me put the last sentence this way. So when you see your most valuable suspect, I mean, I'm trying to use it just like the way in football you have most valuable player. You see your most valuable suspect fleeing.
We didn't watch him leave. We didn't watch him leave. We were powerless. That is the truth. We were powerless. We saw him leave, but we couldn't prevent him from leaving at the airport.
You don't know how to shout. And OSP has police powers. So I can freely say that Kise Jabi is police. They have police powers. So just to make the sentence short, OSP is also a police institution. Policeman sees a suspect running, he cannot shout to the community, hey people, mumbuami o, amanfo, mumbuami o, ojani. You can't do that. You can't shout. You can't shout to journalists so that they'll amplify it for us to help stop Ofori-Atta. Then what else can you do? So it speaks to that fact alone for failure, because he himself said he wanted to stop Ofori-Atta. Nobody forced him to. So if you say you want to stop Ofori-Atta and you don't know how to use tools to stop him, then what else can you do? So it speaks to incompetence and speaks to stated misbehavior. This simple thing, you don't know that your suspect is fleeing. You can't summon help. You can't shout for help. And when I say shout, it doesn't always have to be literal. What I mean is I do a press conference. A press conference is not a shouting match, etc. But I'm just using, I'm trying to do effective communication. That doing a press conference is equivalent to shouting that, hey, Munchino, like the way if you go to Makola and other places, the thief is right. Say, Julo. The moment you start saying Julo, then people will start running. He doesn't know how to apply this in our social fabric. Then we can't rely. We don't have a special prosecutor. So that's the point. Now, number two, the conduct that is likely to bring the office into disrepute, ridicule, etc., is the lies he told. So NIB, even if we don't talk about the other institutions, in your tape he said it. You go to NIB, that's former BNI. They didn't help him to arrest Ofori-Atta.
National Security, nope. National Signals Bureau, nope. National Intelligence Bureau, zero.
And that honor, NIB say they don't have anything like that, whether written or verbal, they don't have it. So that alone, he has called ridicule. You see, now we are talking, we are berating him. The office has lost stature. Can you imagine when Martin Amidu was in office? Amidu wouldn't come and tell such a lie. Amidu wouldn't say such a lie. So you see, the ridicule, disrepute, contempt is made out. So those are two main charges. So I don't even need to prove corruption in the thing. But of course, I'll be adding it. I don't need to. Hey, this is a no-brainer. No-brainer.
What do you see happening? Do you have the strong belief that eventually he is going to lose that position because of all the petitions? And you say it's a no-brainer in terms of proving that he's not fit for the job. Yeah. What do you see happening?
Yes,
Do you actually see...
The way the petitions are many, I think what I see happening is that he just has to resign. Yeah, that would be the better thing. So he won't have to think about his ego, he himself, but for the betterment of the society. In the Bible, when they were looking for, what's his name, the Jesus. So the high priest came and said that the people, when they gathered, they said it's better for us to give up Jesus so that there will be peace in society. Yes, it's wisdom. So when you have so many people agitating, because KSM, very soon Manasseh will come and he'll be interviewed. Apostle Abraham Lincoln Labi, the one who presented the last petition, you interview him. So the conversation will keep going on, and many other people. You see, it's snowballing. It will get bigger and bigger. So the position is untenable.
So your best advice is that he should resign?
Absolutely.
In discussions, I've come to realize that his position is that I have a course. My duty here is to prevent corruption, My duty here is to showcase integrity. So I'm going to stay focused and maybe not be bothered by noises. I don't know whether you see the petitions as noises that are trying to distract
They are not
what he
noises.
intends to do.
They are not noises. So far from his own confession, he has aided a suspect to run away. So that alone makes his position untenable. It's untenable. This one strike. No, it's not even just one strike. Apart from enabling one, and it's not just one suspect to run away. The most valuable suspect. So a man you have 5 cases against, you see him fleeing, you couldn't arrest him. What else is left? What? And then you see the other things, that have come up. Now, this focus, number 2, we'll just use your broadcast alone, your interview with him. That alone is enough to nail him. I mentioned how he has bastardized NIB, former BNI. How can you come and say such lies about BNI? You've caused them a lot of reputational damage. That's what they were doing. And as I told you, I personally spoke on phone with people in charge of NIB at the time he said so. And then I followed up with an official letter to the current NIB administration. Both are saying negative. You know the damage is done to NIB. KSM, your platform is very big. It goes all over the world. You know the damage is done to NIB. What focus? You should get out of that office. What focus? You've bastardized other institutions and then you say you are getting focus. He's aided suspects to run away and he say he's getting focus. What focus? His focus is actually on allowing suspects to bolt. That's what his focus has been, not the work. His focus so far to have allowed Oforiatta and Sakori to bolt. His main achievement has been to allow suspects to run away. Look, they came again with false statements that they've saved Ghana 2.7 billion. I have it here. It is false. It's false. He can't, even in his own annual report, he then had to change it. Look, you see Sami Dako on this news file. That's it there, KSM. He is speaking. They said 2.7 billion. It's false. $2.7 billion. Please, let's emphasize dollars. It's false. If you go on the OSP website right now and check, you won't find $2.7 billion.
What do you find?
The closer is about, so let's round it up, 2.7 billion cedis. And even that one is also even disputable. But looking at the time, it may not be conducive to go in there. So you see, so what I'm saying is that your interview alone is more than enough to nail him. Now, these other statements also are not good. So if you look at the 16 petitions, no, it's too much of a distraction. So sometimes, even when you are not liable or guilty, because of the distraction, preparing a defense for 16 petitions, attending these hearings, etc., that alone takes him away from the work. So he should just go, even without any proof that he's done wrong. Because what we are applying here is what is called the Caesar's wife's test. Caesar's wife said, how did he behave? How did he conduct himself in such a manner as to allow the rumors and all these things to fester? Meaning that he hasn't behaved himself well. So the context is that, and Julius Caesar. So you see that Caesar the emperor divorced his wife because his wife allowed a rumor to fester that Caesar's friend, Mark Antony, had slept with her. So Caesar said, no, you can't, whatever you did that engendered it. So you see how come some women, once they marry, they don't even like to play with men, even if you are colleagues. Then later you say, no, now I'm married, these jokes I don't want. You don't want anything to fester. So how did Kisi conduct himself to allow these rumors and things to fester? It means that he hasn't conducted himself well. So even using the Caesar's wife's test alone, sometimes it's not that you are guilty or liable, but the distraction. Because like I said, today, for the past 3 weeks, every day, OSP, and it's all been negative. So really, the situation is untenable. It's untenable. Look, as for the charges, plenty. Look, I could show you another one. You know, when the Cicely Adapa matter came out, he declined jurisdiction because he said when he did his investigations, he found money laundering. And that under the OSP Act, and true, money laundering is not listed as one of the offenses that the office can prosecute. Fair enough. Now, 2.5 years on, we are not aware of any court decision that says that the special prosecutor can prosecute for money laundering. Yet in the MPA case, the Mustafa Hamid, etc. case, he has charged some persons with money laundering. Then in this SML matter, he has charged certain persons with causing financial loss. Causing financial loss belongs to Dr. Ayeni, the Attorney General. This is the OSP's mandate. KSM, you won't see section 179A. Causing financial loss under our law, Act 29, is called section 179A. You see, the closest you see is 179C. That one is using public office for profit. Using public office, you see C here. You don't see A. You don't see that's his mandate. You don't see money laundering here. You don't see money laundering. You don't see causing financial loss. So how come 2 years ago you said there's no money laundering here, so you are sitting aloof? And that time I supported him. If he had gone to court and the court had so ruled, then we'll know that okay, don't try it at all. But he wanted to be cautious, which, excuse me, I also support. That's to say, let's not gamble and lose this money. So he not just quiet, so he publicly declined jurisdiction and said for money laundering, it should be Yoko. Now, 2.5 years on, there's a case involving money laundering. Then you say, no, that one, you will take it to court. Then won't we suspect that you deliberately want to go to court so that they will win the case, the accused persons will win? The same for the causing financial loss. It's not stated here. So if anything at all, the best they could have done is that the time he declined jurisdiction the Cecilia Dapa matter, he could have caused, or maybe he will go to court for interpretation. There are ways that these things are done. Then the courts will tell him what his argument is that, and I have a soft spot for it, but it's not about soft spot. It's about what the law says. The law is the law.
The law is the law.
So it's not about my soft spot or emotions. What his argument is that if I start digging for corruption, I'm trying to do a corruption and corruption-related offenses, right, investigation. Then I come across money laundering. It's unfair that because it's not my mandate, I should leave it. Sometimes by the time you leave it and go and call the other institution to come, the suspect would have bolted with the money, etc. And you see, even the Cecilia Dapa matter, what happened? He handed over the money. He handed over the money to Cecilia Dapa. Of course, he will say it's a court order, but he could have challenged the order that no, I don't think we should hand over the money. Rather, we should hand over the money to Yoko. But he handed it over. So what we are saying is that there is some sympathy for saying if the man is investigating corruption or corruption-related offenses and comes across something outside his mandate, he should be able to add it. But yes, I'm saying that's an argument with not yet research. So please, it may be emotional.
Okay.
So I've not been able to research it. It just, sometimes it's not what you reason that's the law. Because everybody will tell you that, hey, money laundering, is this stated here? You say no. Section 79 of the Office of Special Prosecutor Act. These things are not in there. So most lawyers will tell you that don't be overzealous. Don't be over. If you want, go back to Parliament for amendment. So if that is so, why has Kisieja been chosen to charge Oforiata with causing financial loss? Why are you gambling? Why is he gambling? Then it fits into the suspicion that is deliberate to allow his former client and friend to run.
What's your view of this gambling? What do you personally think?
No, it's too dangerous. So what I think is that no, don't gamble with real figures, with a live case. So such a thing, what could have been done is that he could have come that, Kpebu, just like the way I've sued this money laundering thing. I've sued, we are in court, myself and Professor Jampo, on another matter because the Attorney General, also Godfrey Dami at the time, made it easy in order to frustrate the investigation. He gave an opinion that Yoko cannot investigate that matter. Just to make it, there isn't enough time to explain that. So for those reasons, I've gone to court. So, but they have my number, etc. Sometimes it's done. So they could have reached out to me. Oh, Kpebu, this matter of money laundering, since you are saying you have a soft spot for our opinion that we should be allowed. So it's like you are digging for gold. And then in the process, maybe you see iron ore, okay, or you see diamond. So the way the law is working, I mean, take the gold and go away, leave the diamond and the iron. You see that? Then everybody will say, oh, why don't you bring it home and then we can see, you see, we are using logic. We've not seen decided cases else. So in that case, you get lawyers to sue OSP. Then the courts will decide. So if the court say, oh, you didn't start out looking for diamond, you were told to go and get gold. But if where you get to gold, there is diamond, pick it along. Sure, we would have decided. So use a hypothetical case when he declined the suicidal matter. Then you say, okay, Kpebu sue, or this other person sue. Let the courts decide. You didn't do that. 2.5 years on, Oforiata, you say, oh, you do causing financial loss when it's not in your books. Then MPA case, you say you do money laundering when it's not in your books. No. If he had there is no court case, because would have expected that if there was a court case, that now gave him the mandate as part of carrying the citizens along in governance. We have what we call whole of government approach or whole of society approach. They would have been required to teach us that new case, because KSM, the way our system works, you don't have a database which work instantaneously, that today you can just go and click and you see all the cases in Ghana at once. No, somebody has to take the case and go and upload it. So if it's not loaded, you won't know. So all I'm trying to say is that I cannot know all the laws in Ghana. That's even for me, a lawyer. So naturally, if you got a mandate, a certain court decision saying so, he is required to use it to educate people, so that now citizens will be aware. Because remember, the law is not meant as a trap. We need to know the law beforehand. So he would have done education that, hey, people of Ghana, there is this court judgment that now says I can do money laundering and do financial loss. He hasn't done such a thing. So straight away, we're going to charge Oforiata and Co with causing financial loss and charging the MPA case causing money laundering. It raises suspicion that it's a ploy to allow people to escape free.
You said it raises some suspicion.
Yeah.
Is that what you expect? Do you think that it's possible that all this is designed to stall a particular process?
Oh, as for believe, I'm allowed to believe. I believe
Yes.
it. Yes, so I believe it. And
As for believe, you're allowed to believe it.
Yes, yes.
You
So
don't-
it's a believe.
you don't need evidence to believe.
Exactly. I believe it, because hey, your chief prosecutor, who said, "Nipa ni dwane, aman for mumro, munchino mami, munchino," you can't do that. And I keep saying that. Don't forget the context is that when Kisi Jabi was in law school, it was a shock. Kisi Jabi made first class, University of Ghana law. So I'm like, our first class student, this simple thing, and even like I said, KSM, we all make mistakes. This your interview with him, we saw it in public on the 5th of November. Is that the same day you did the interview?
No, it was recorded and played back on a different day. I
yeah.
think a day after or something. A day
Good.
after.
So we saw it on the 5th of
Yeah.
November. Then we started hitting. And you know, even before the 5th of November, do you know something? The reason I keep saying you are the legend, etc. Coincidentally, Saturday, 2nd November, the 2nd November was a Saturday. That day, I said on TV3 that I believe there is I suspect, or I believe there's collusion, right? Yeah, you know, sometimes citizens, lay people start. But we, because we are lawyers, there are certain things lay people can say. But lawyer cannot say, because when you say it, they'll say, lawyer, you deal with evidence. Don't dabble in these beliefs and suspicions.
Yeah.
So we are constrained. But that Saturday, I broke ranks and said, no, I want to join the suspicion people. Then thank God, KSM, the 5th of November, your interview came out. And it showed that he said he saw Oforiata leave. He intercepted, and then he wouldn't do the right thing. Then I said, oh, you are. Then my belief is correct. Because for me, this is no powers that police use in arresting you can do. Okay, so for police, if he has reasonable suspicion, policeman doesn't need to go to court for a warrant before arresting. No. We don't use warrant generally. So if you see your suspect running and you don't arrest him, then I'm entitled to believe that there is suspicion, there is collusion. So look at section 28, the police power. It says the special prosecutor and authorized officers shall exercise the powers of a police officer specified in the criminal and other offenses into brackets Procedure Act 1960, Act 30, or any other enactment. So if you go into the Act 30, sections 12 to 14 deal with arrest. A police officer, all he needs to do is to have reasonable suspicion. And he, Kisi Ejabi, at that time, he had the suspicion because there were cases against Oforiata and he didn't do it. And if I may just add, you see, Manasseh did this expose where it showed that he never even started the investigations until January this year. I've shared the thing with you. I think when you interview Manasseh, since he generated, he can throw more light on it. You see clearly that they started the investigations 29th of January 2025. Yet in the interview with you, Kisi said, oh, they started, so that's in 2023, they did 2024, but when KPMG started their work, then they stopped. So that when KPMG is done, they can look at it and see how.
We started the investigation in December 2023 when we got the petition from 3 journalists from the 4th Estate. So with our preliminary investigation, by the end of December, we already had a clear path where we were going. We had the evidence already. But we needed more, because what the petitioners brought us was an investigative journalist piece. Excellent. But to do corruption-related criminal investigation, you have to go 10 times more than what the investigative journalists have done. Because now you're going to go to court in respect of criminal charges. You don't go with just narratives and documents. As I said, you need to validate things. And so by the ending of December 2023, the president then has stepped in and appointed KPMG. So what we said by way of public announcement was that we were going to put a little break on our investigation to wait for the KPMG report. It was parallel, going on at the same time. By the time KPMG started its work, we had already finished our preliminary investigation. So sometime in March, when the report was sent to the president, it confirmed to us that we were not on a wild goose chase. We were actually on to something, and that what we had at the time was good to go. But there were still pressing questions being raised by KPMG, which we also had, because those questions were really sitting on our minds. Then secondly, which is more important, KPMG made some conclusions which startled us. No, a preliminary investigation wasn't showing what they were saying. It was the reverse of what they were saying. So then, by the mandate reposed in me under the OSP regime as special prosecutor, I authorized full investigation. So we have been on this since December 23.
Yeah.
All this na lie, because KSM, I've shared the thing with you. You will see that it says, and there are emails, that 29th of January this year, that's when they said they will start the investigation. And then, on the Sami Dako was denying, etc. But today, the new thing shows what we call the diary of action. Ask any policeman. When you say diary of action, it means that is where all the things are written about a case. So you see the diary of action I have in my hands here. The first day that there is a record, maybe the camera can capture it, 29th. Do you see it? The diary of action, the first day, 29th of January 2025. That's when Kisi Gabin started. That's the diary of action. And yet he came and in your interview, he was saying all manner of stories. So it means that Oforiatta left when he didn't even know there was any case before him. So you see that it doesn't square up with the statement that he wanted to arrest Oforiatta. So you now, from the record, you haven't started investigation. So on what basis were you saying that you were going to arrest him? So you see that it doesn't add up. It doesn't add up. It's the facts. It's the fact. This one is called diary of action. Interview a CID person and you tell you what.
Yes, and this is and Sema Lawyer Martin Kpebu Onelino Kama Pa. Ninsema can be a social evidence. Show evidence. So this is why the OSP no very soon upon Pio Bekofi OSP Pio or the human beto. I'm telling you, because they say petition no omobe yirim to cementa. And some Lawyer Martin Kpebu kan udi inti and some kan sebi. Mama yam fantun senino. Emudia wahi. Ena okaseti a OSP Kisie Jabin emu de wo he na eye direct insult to him ba kokura ni ho but Kisie Jabin in his own wisdom not trasia ohun se nsem na ayi kan nyina Martin Kpebu kan nyina no a legal basis. In fact, our grounds, and he has a point to prove whenever he has been called. And you know, share that's all be friend. Now, on no who the president, no more obeying the Niyama, the deputies, and as an crop more no more discipline Kpebu kakra because he has that right to arrest, detain you, and what prosecute. Entianye biya kwan so ntimi prosecute Martin Kpebu, he will arrest and detain him. That is the whole thing. But deep down in Kisie Jabin no, he knows very well. Say sema lawyer Martin Kpebu kan yin no, sema evidence based. Ejina ne nan so ampa so. Anso mo kan no mo hye twa Kisie Jabin ni interview so ye proud to say the kinu frata ebe kone sa anema okowie no. Anse KSM wayade pa wayade o membo na baso wayade. Ena omutimi yi sa anema ni nyina. What na make sure na say. Enti no Kisie Jabin ni de so opio. It is the high timer he has to leave that institution. And if possible, NDC shouldn't scrap it. No, they should find a competent lawyer who can be in charge of that office and dig into what is going on in that Kisie Jabin office. Na kamobe hu kuruman semi PP. And kamobe temasum nsem because a lot of dirty works allegedly are going on in the office of the special prosecutor, the officer. And you know, that is why na do so no dear. I born to pampers. I just almost scrap this ha. Omaka say oh, sadia Kisie Jabin yetum enti kona koda. Sade oti obe okay. But as to so be free omo obi abane de ompesa. Enka yimfiri omo obi ma enka Martin Amidu amfiri honum amwamba. Ono ko mu share the creative man. Akufado share the creative man. Say Martin Amidu come and be the special prosecutor. That's a special prosecutor. Enti odokwa no etimi resign ye no firi ho a how can say wow obey obey ni de ubedi na de wuntimi emfiri ho no enti ensem ne de emu ewrem na ye bekọ no ye kwakotie kwa miziga asizua ni hypocritical analysis aya oye no Saturday bia no yenti na yemfa bi nye sere kakra na sabi yemfa bi so emfa adwen yenti nse ni bi
ya for me no yeti ase obi office Fedisi koko mo no akọ miane okoto miane ni baby se fa oye na dwene se fed ni eba ebia he fada ba akọ you can work it all the money. You can get a fat bank account but when you how you get the energy, how will you get the strength to go and work again? So you say you boy for abasu. So we are seeing National Democratic Congress at our Farmers Day. National Democratic Congress took over on the 7th of January 2025. Papa, we say the Honorable Eric Popo was appointed as an minister. So for the past 11 months, National Democratic Congress, this is what they have achieved. The Farmers Day in President Mohammed's second term. Now, the first Farmers Day, Abawe say Bano, who this man that they introduced and they have said amuche kokon say eba kono kokonibi ye ba ma buo ababa kare beton kokon aduane ama kokono pankasa so enkokono ye be e de abawo se ye be ya ye be check be fa be kura enkokono na wanye omo na omunyina wat wudi sikani bia shoboto wanya betire na wato aso ebuo ne ye de ba ma akwa ba kasa akoro course umpe we opede na fe omu se yedi na ye kokwaji bia ebetimi aboa ma about 1.2 billion dollars adi na ekwa ye de kokwa the country so bet fe ye metric tons ye gaha portrait farm no kwa na etimi yetimi raise no ebi beba be ka ho amasi no at go ha say that is that Sa policy ni owura erikopoku be se obetimi apoa the picture ni mama kakra owura erikopoku e de ba afa feed Ghana program enso so aba e be kai say feed program feed Ghana program so no aba say e bo e perform e bebu. That is okay. So feed Ghana program no one achievement papa we say started sa adwuma aba and say food inflation aba food inflation. So let's check last year the food inflation how last year Ghana ended as of July 10th 2024. Ghana ranks 6th with the highest food inflation. This is the World Bank statistics. This year July last year na Ghana ranks 6th in Africa. But the normal season 2025 when Eric Opoku the food and agriculture minister together with Dumelo over. This is the new system. Food inflation first panel 6 in Ghana. No, food inflation was 24%. 24%. Now let's check the food inflation now. Let's roll it quickly, please. So from November 2025, the food inflation, only from 24%. Now overall food inflation, inflation 6.6% from 9.5% in October. So it is that they have achieved a lot. Eric Opoku has achieved a lot. So that is that. That is the food inflation. A drop from 20% of last year and the about 6.6%. Congratulations, Honorable Eric Opoku. Now, Ghana the largest yam producer in the world. Largest yam producer in the Africa. Let's go and cross check it. Okay, so this one coming from Farm Villa Resource Center. Farm Villa Resource Center on my Twitter, SR Facebook. Ghana was largest exporter of yam over from Nigeria. Ghana raised $8 million in 2021 as export value for yam. Alone $7 million worth of yam from Ghana. According to the radio, Ghana controls 24% of the 200 global export market. This has led to the growth of the country's export value from 0.8 million in 2008 to 48.2 million in 2021. And the Nigeria yam export business failed due to bad policy government. So that is that. It's all people try to say bad policy governance. When Nigeria, I'm Ghana take it over. And they say Ghana oba we are na export to yam edu by edu ko wiase na no Ghana. Kudos to Honorable Eric Opoku as we celebrate the Farmers Day. You have really done well. Honestly speaking, you have really done well. Our food inflation has dropped from 24% to 6.6%. Now Ghana is the largest yam producer in the world. So unless you to say, thank you very much. So now, all right. Let's celebrate President Kufuor. And social media, say it's such a beautiful picture. Say President Kufuor, how cool heart that it's a beautiful picture. And so I will enter you say, go to Facebook. Let's search for this photo. Who's that photo? A day after fire UDP. A day after tomorrow, fire screenshot. A day after tomorrow, fire will screensaver. What's it? Because a day after tomorrow, your President Kufuor the birthday. So we need to celebrate this man. A second great man is the second president of the Fourth Republic, Republic of Ghana. So this is President Kufuor, and this is why we need to celebrate this man. The Fourth Republic, second president of the Fourth Republic, Papa from the minister, those days, Buzia, deputy foreign affairs minister, Bebedu, Rollins, local minister, Yacheneko detention or fighting it out, Emma Yakoko, Lidi Ghana delegation in Nigeria, Yakate gas or Ghana, Papa Ena, and Iran president, Emma gas, no papa we President Kufuor and the cover national health insurance buy first panake mutual health insurance on the money called the whole Ghana and President Kufuor the cocoa mass brain at the buy President Kufuor and metro transit yes say a driver form of short or through Hadoma no see passengers pass out so I know or charges President Kufuor brought metro transit to ease the transport sector no emma said your transport your transport deficit what the metro transit was local school biano do on for the free and no President Kufuor say capitation esen korani school and President Kufuor was school na ese me money free send your beya akwara betimi ebe inspire man akọ school bi ko na the biska e de aduane e de amom President Kufuor brought the national school feeding program President Kufuor was Ghana say obi wo population because the population and then on mind so President Kufuor decided that obi a yere banyi se bia okowo a enye kwa free maternal care and President Kufuor and Edebai why no ma bebrebe ye de be that was sia kind of say thank you very much Ghana be that was say ye be President Kufuor tomorrow President Kufuor ne birthday eti obi anko Facebook search for this photo the fire screen save and I say fire screen saver and I say fire UDP Facebook all right now let's start our journey. We are starting our journey quickly. Okay, so that is that. Let's start our journey. Remember that is no more. Nyakopon Father Christ, Charles Kojo to may so rest in perfect peace in the arms of our Lord. He said, Daddy Lumba, Senka ne ye no ye ni ya ye Daddy Lumba ye Baba Yara Sports Stadium. So that is that. But this put by Daddy Lumba, who is to perform we do it right. Right. Okay. Now let's start this. Mami will say, your friend Akosia Sewa. Akosia Sewa is the lawful wife of Daddy Lumba. And when Daddy Lumba, before Daddy Lumba became a crutch, no ne ababa where we see it. Yes, okay, thank you very much. So ababa where we see and then your friend okay, so Daddy Lumba, and I watch the real. Mami we say, your Mami or Germany. Only that worry ever customary marriage. Almost Germany. If I don't Germany and almost back Ghana, Germany, no, 13 years and almost year nice marriage. Germany. Okay. Now, what happened is, Mami buy a say, and Kofosi one Lumba worry a new hobby. Tell you, and this one that the Lumba worry a new hobby. I be on Baba always say, "Ko passe ko say, se mami we ye di ni di ba poster no so kwa no aya consider no." Na mami ni bufu ye no say, "Eh, me na me bu aye ordinance marriage e Germany. Ordinance marriage so in case you don't know by no, we e cancel sa we no. And na me say we ordinance marriage ba ko fight e ko ware e bigamy. That's a jail for years. Was me many me kunu aware no aye ordinance marriage no. I don't know about Brab and Cassano. And as Messia Momo me say the Bibi Diba post swannet to see. Okay, then I have to prove you that me Kwana me your. So this one took it to Kumasi High Court. What they call High Court no plead for normal and 9. Yen declare a year by yen ma yen kakra yen judge to so. What lead that one? And was the court to say, you declare so on Kwana your Lumba worry. You declare we are on question say because she is the lawful wife according to her. And there are some courts. Madam say, judge we have found justice after. One that some so last week Friday, and the ruling a babon. Ruling a babon, I catch a mystery. Lawyers bebre eka ho asem ebisi antwa ebisi atwa ye ebisi peacefully no maame ne pesa ba da ye admit sa se de be asundie be otoye ba yenka asundie ho asem court yenka court yenka yeah, the justice. That is why Peter Koch say, I don't need peace. What we hear peace, we hear equal right and justice. So if there is equal right, automatically justice will prevail. Sorry, peace will prevail. You understand? Or see, equal right and justice. If we get equal right and justice, definitely there will be peace. Madam during that, and we are ruling. No, yeah, anyway, you would be Nigeria radio swap, your quiet discussion on the idea. Honestly, I saw a lot of posts ruling on the Bible. I'm telling you, questions and big issue with the ruling now, my Bible. Me personally, I'm not happy with the ruling because okay, ruling now, some of the areas she deliberately, committed something to make a blunder. So, that's why I said, oh, no. And no, they person because of time. Okay. Now, about say your friend or Nippon na the witness box number your friend that is a defense with one. On the page now, Puma or Dobroni dancing that lumba war or Dobroni. Oh no. Because we are contending say that lumba. So that guy need be dance Odobroni. Na sa abrantie no. Oyo Odobroni say ya ba ekunu ene sa abrantie. Ena okoko last year we say after guest take no. No akosi aboaje so program awoni for Peace FM. And discuss the outcome the fallout of the advert never. Enti obo friend abrantie no a ko dire mu ma Beniako branch ne Beniako na nua ba ku odobuni enua ba ku no eti abene ka say na Tuesday Wednesday Thursday Friday and ye judgment no so Tuesday no cross examination ya court no na mani we judge no na judge ni chiche eti judge no whom sa branch no belong to an interest party ya examine and a judge ne friend no say why ya pa tell you why ya pa na me bo abaso e di bo na abaso say na kasa no sisi so is what a branch no judge no e ka de kire mutie you I have the recording play recording they actually I'll come back and tell you something. Your actualities. A good branch and a can ruling my declare my many young ruling no. My man a brand can say, who catch and say, why ya dear power and what cherry chocolate. Listen to it.
What can be said? You know, describe us. What more be done in no. Out as the most credible agency sanity but what you see no na then ankaza
I am okay something I'm saying na next him and see and yeah you know I automatically no ebo my boss why that's the na you know it's just there's a car in now and yeah na it's and also na no atu no cre Odobroni on na yeah why I'm ready I'm there so before day na the good na can go dance there but that's you know tell me so identity yeah chocolate ama the staff the pot okay of friend say bra I mean the Obama pastor the whole chocolate no dia the juma something I can't.
All right. I see her. Okay, so Abraham is James Beniako. And was say, na ya oko no okodi adanse wie. Sa day no judge na chiche chocolate. No chiche chocolate no friend wa Abraham e bra. We ma so ani. Etu makayo we ma so ani. Etu ne so ani. Because dance be judge na. But what is in law we is on the ethical. Yes, Abraham SMC so who me a try to say your rule in him dan say ni na no Abraham SMC but unya ma rule in it timi nka Abraham na SMC pa na ko and say na oba be judgment eye say so we to asem nim eye say they want declare me dada asem oba ne dada because Abraham some no kind of the crown is so with some people want to take this woman to the judicial council. They are pushing the judicial council and they are to ask her. They should call the woman. They explain why an interest party, an interest party. Now we are here the Christ nation. Now you are ruling. Now the first pardon wa bonabasu. Say no sisi kasa the fire bonabasu. If I'm making sense, that's fine. If I'm not making sense, that's fine. But this one needs to be seen by the judicial council. I'm telling you, because we cannot tolerate this. In this country, now gas statistical service, the barometer MHS say about 62% of Ghanaians they don't have trust and belief in the judicial service. So we need to put the judicial mind number fair. An interest party I catch and say, Adiana Wayan, why pa, oh boy, so for the casa, no casa, no watch any chocolate. I don't get it. I don't get it a bit. The judicial council, if they are listening to us, the chief justice, if they are listening to us, they need to call this woman to come and explain why she gave that chocolate and other stuff at the Abraham. Why on your branch, it do come on. Why is so branch and abaso so mamu thank you very much. You can go to Facebook, search for Kesmet TV program be yaba ken kan jama. Now we starting our political journey for today. Yes, making sense or not? And I am audio ni bi the babo audio ni bi mu nyabo was say judge chocolate chocolate staff or teacher chocolate diama or kai and was a bra why ya dear bomb so said the cross or bomb basso. I'm talking with a lot of lawyers and judges in this case. They are saying that what this judge did was unethical. So she needs to be seen called by the Chief Justice of the Judicial Council. So we are waiting. They're going because we need to get to the root of this case. The reason why the judge, ASR, thank you very much. Okay. That is that. I'm a private message. Baroski Mahusa Oshe, Bonji, and Sevilla, and okay, thank you very much. I say, which to honorable wisdom or say, oh no. And so, and now poor Papa Nanadu, also someone who say, oh, thank you very much. Okay, let's move to our political. But before that, make culture was impact. I said the last week, Rebecca was say impact air basso. Impact here, one of the greatest meetings that we have in Africa. The latest road, the Action Chapel de Prayer Cathedral, Archbishop Duncan Williams. So you can see two speakers, Apostle Joshua Sermon, Bishop Bernard Ojiri Asare, and Robert Ampiakofi, Dr. Ren Ampiakofi Bobo, and Apostle E.T. Agent Bede, and Reverend Dr. David Entry of London. So Obia said, Yami Adu Ochina, and the Bishop himself, and Yami Adu Ochina, he said, ye impact be a no, the climax no, and the Babacasa, no, Yami Adu, I said, the whole event. So Kasa Bekasa, yes, and Kitwa, if you are Baby, and Yamakasa so I have to yeah bibi kakra de fa me say kra me mo fa nche me why so impact nyame na area impact ya ni na no ya ye nhira o so nhira atwote na wo hunu a o pese o ye nhira to me about the tomorrow and the second from 5 p.m. Ekokosi 9 p.m. So Archbishop Williams lead bibi atotana kwa musa yan refresh na o pese o hu sa empire bi what is sa empire bi you be under the voice refresh ya ho ni enti empire for the last 2 years as the last 3 years empire no let's watch it na refresh ya ho sisi
yanya nkopon wa uksa ebem na usha ejina yanya nkopon ufiti didi uhedi you nyankopon onyame se wo sem untumra o tiepon mpaye sa se afi we mu ewrade kapa asa ya brabo kasa omangana mu kasa sika se wo memu ewrade kasa ma adinyina anyedin kama na nyekom ewrade matumi nyina mbra no ho ase na you to me won ho ase ewrade kasa na mo sam ni abefo won jina po anyone three ponyina ekwa ewrade kasa why ewrade kasa tumi nyina mbra no ho ase ani ewe nyina hye ase waso tie ase if so yanko
thank you very much Archbishop Duncan and as to Accra the road lead to the Action Chapel the Cathedral Bishop Duncan Williams Impact 2024. Okay, so let's continue. Now we move to our political unit today. Okay, so let's see the five presidential candidates of our Patriotic Party. The presidential candidate of the Patriotic Party, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, Kennedy Kompreko Japan, we brother Champon, Engineer Kwabena Japan, and Dr. Mekase Ofan. I said that Dr. Bawumia is win the contest. I'm not saying he has won and I say he win. I'm saying that per what I'm seeing, Dr. Bawumia, it looks like Dr. Bawumia is winning the contest. People didn't get me. The reason why I make us the way they say, let's start the journey. Now, let's see Alan Chamatin quickly. Let's see Alan Chamatin, because people didn't get what maybe what I'm putting it across. So let's watch this. This is Alan Chamatin. Now from Poziga, make I the doji. You must know. Alan Chamatin na make media coordinator. Ghana brought so ya ba media for no men na me frefre no abito and it's one other one I call Isaac or Daily Dispatch to call media personnel Edema Alan Chamatin to Ashanti region. Alan Chamatin could not become flag bearer for New Patriotic Party in 2010 for 2028 election. He could not become a flag bearer for New Patriotic Party in 2010 ahead of 2012 election. He couldn't become a flag bearer in 2014 ahead of 2016 election. Okay. The last bit 2020. I know all bid say obey flag bearer the New Patriotic Party. He couldn't. No man of us any research about a hidden like Chamatin. I'm a flag bearer. One and they say they have a media firm and so he was asked to establish a radio station. He refused to establish that radio station. So the radio station after the 2007 now after 2007 he was advised to set up a radio station. That radio station consistently set an agenda for him, but he refused to do that. That is one. Two, Alan Chamatin failed to build an empire for himself. What is the meaning of empire? I said you create opportunity, a lot of opportunity for young guys. And say you maybe not oh come on, I want to fight for you. For example, you take them So today, say President Mahama Kemraman who come and contest it, and then because of the empire to NDC into the Quebec winning. Like a Katia has created an empire. Somebody like Opoku has created empire. Somebody like Dr. Udubam created empire. Somebody like Brother Champon has also created empire. Somebody like Matopoku Prempe, Dr. Matopoku Prempe, they have created empire. They have created empire in the sense that they won't go for the bra. Say, Papa when me do her, it is within the party, no, all the contact, no all things, all the rages, all no, that is two. After 2007, the first person that advised Dr. Alanti to go to Parliament was Benson. Asked Alanti to go to Parliament because so one complementer the architecture of politics and political architecture of LDP and not Parliament to me election. LDC get there declaration and on by on and on and on. But LDP almost center of Parliament because majority of the new patriotic party more Parliament. It looks like I said money shot for Parliament. Now was in Parliament. Hakba Uswa was in Parliament. Fellows Uswa Japan was in Parliament. And the Kwame Adoko was in Parliament. And I did not later on went to Parliament. You understand? Oh no. All the people they were in Parliament or Safumafo, they were in Parliament. But Chamati was not in Parliament. So he was advised to go to Parliament so that he can also start agenda for Parliament. When you go to Parliament now, when you have opportunity a certain edge over your peers, like it or not, because one President Kofo was planning to support Alan Chamatin. The list to know another President Kofo a part of one to support Alan Chamatin. Most of them were also our constitution say appointed Parliament than outside Parliament. Most of them in Parliament, but when they were before, they support Alan Chamatin to Parliament. They support Nana Akufo, and Nana Akufo was in Parliament. He was able to find a way to look more. Now remember, say parliamentarians, about 90% of them they control the constituencies. Or call the constituency, some of them control the party chair, the first vice chairman, second vice chairman, the organizer, the organizer himself, the deputy organizer, the secretary, the organizer, we say contract or pre-contract. So they are controlling the first constituency. And to whom we know parliamentarian voter, it means that we need a whole constituency. That is how the problem is. It will be a parliament to be on opportunity. He gets opportunity in a flag bearer. If you put to the parliamentary battle, automatically one share can win the flag bearership. Okay, now bring back the aspirants. Now, the reason why I'm saying that parliamentary, you have an edge. When we need parliamentary battle now, it can help you to win the flag bearership. Dr. Brother Champo and Dr. Yawase, they are all parliamentarians. In fact, Akoko left Parliament this year on this January this year. So it tells you that Akoko should have empire in Parliament. Now, Dr. Brother Champo still in Parliament. Yawase still in Parliament, Doctor. So how come that we have 63 out of 68 parliamentarians ethically almost support Ediaba Dr. Bawumia? I don't. Listen to me. Akufo-Addo's time, he had more parliamentarians supporting Akufo-Addo because he was in Parliament. Why Akufo-Addo was able to win parliamentary battle because he was in Parliament. Imani for research, nurses research, said Parliament in PP sometimes little bit disadvantaged. Now Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia in parliament? How come that 63 members of parliament, 60 members of parliament, out of 88, I declare support and Dr. Bawumia Obi parliament? If that is the case, then Dr. Bawumia is winning. That's what I'm saying. Because more parliament, you know, are not winning the parliamentary battle. So if Dr. Bawumia parliament is winning the parliamentary battle, that means that Dr. Bawumia is winning. Now, do a calculation amount. Now, MDC has 185 seats in parliament. NPP 187. 87. Okay. So 185. It means that the constituencies NPP 185. And those of constituencies, majority of them are declaring for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Because some of them were transparent, they were able to win. Now listen to me. 137 members of parliament and NPP for last elections, you know, 137 seats, you know, on the last elections, you know. Today, almost 88, and I say 87. 87, no, who got 87 no more? Elect it, who got free 187 no more? Elected 49, 49, and Nipa 49, and then parliament. Muteni yo 49 Nyanko parliament. That 49 no, and would 39 are supporting Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Omo man ko parliament tifie no. Omo bid na mo tifie. And would 39 are supporting Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. I don't get it. They are controlling their constituencies. Some of the members of parliament, they are controlling their constituencies. They are controlling their constituencies. If that is the case and they are to go, then I think that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia now stands tall among all of them. That is what I'm saying. This is not agenda. That is, I'm a journalist. May I calculate, may I analyze issues. This is what I have observed. That 137 members of parliament and the NPP last year, and 88 and the typical parliament. It means that 49 parliament, 49 normal parliament, you know, and 39 as support Dr. Bawumia. Now 88 you know more parliament is here. 63 support Dr. Bawumia. Somebody who hasn't been to parliament before, that the man is winning. What I can see. You can bring your message, but that is what I have seen. That is likely to a year will win. That is that. Okay. Let's read a couple of messages. There are, I'll come to tell you why National Democratic is about to, appoint the first female IGP. I'll tell you today. Wait. I have a Banji in face. We are my kind of you know. Upon my vibration. And so Mensaka message, you know. Priscilla, I'll say good afternoon. I'm watching you live from Utu. Thank you very much. Sabodon also the judge should indeed be the judicial council to explain why she did what she did. Jiga SP from Kenya Kumasi. Stop attacking judge and accept the ruling. Good faith, team legal wife, please. Attack judge be please. We need the petition, we need education. Judge say who one expert now chena who bonabasa so why cross examination obey pa and then you bus e pench the mood that's all. Would was why you people are doing this? Oh, no. Besides on the 30th, look in the Babasson. I would not tell you with the meet me enter. All right, on. Okay, where are we now? Let's see Kodia Frempong and Okumkom. Justin Kodia Frempong and yes, women. This one Kakramani. Mammy for 1 minute in your there's something happening at a new party. Now, my when John Boadu. John Boadu is the former general secretary, former organizer, youth organizer on, and now person at the New Party. And where Boadu from? Jacob is the current general secretary. But something is happening. You see, I say John Boadu person contesting chairmanship position. Just Boadu say or Satra to be a general secretary. Now something. Interest of the chairmanship, but buy into they say Papa when unity say a but what we say Papa when you're dangerous and I said yeah, why can't nobody want to contest this man?
Akachro, Kwame Ziga dear. Or no MPP food soldier. Kwame Ziga. Or a pure MPP man. I'm telling you. Kwame Ziga is pure MPP Asante man. It you know. Or no NDC Numa Muye. Nima a course for Ghana. Hawa NDC for a Tom Mubwa so Mushisha Ghana. Or no and can coat na can shit. You need man is obeying. Oba betina reduce no ana TV so Kesbin na wa any propaganda analysis no na owi achi no wape we bia koda what na mecho na say but as to say ono no obeka no kore ama Ghana fo ati say oh andi saban ya ban papa andi saban ya de the Ghana fo ina mo men support andi saban na onye adwuma no sa branch aye fe no aye Ziga Kwame na Afrimpon Ziga no. He is not interested. He is not what interested in any of that thing. Only interested. Only interested. No pan is the piano. Na NDC asamaba na yeka the piano na galamsey NDC phone to means of way na eno de wa born white na white omo kan saying a long sleeve no atutum no abetena se na oyedin na oka na oka ya ba say NDC aban ya ade bia NDC ya aban ya ade bia obebo NDC aban ba so ndi ebi nsida ebi nsida enti na Afrimpon Kwame Ziga sana ade no akwakoye meso so be like na wa share na afoforo enye bia hwe san say ensem ne de doso but I say ensem ne doso Awusia so wadwin ene Sunday ene happy super fantabros everything Friday there be Sunday enti sana de na akwakoye kira wadwin wo comment section na yi na yento conversation so na enye fefe what you say kira wadwin Macro. Bye bye.